2019 BMW X5 car review. Unlike BMW's sports sedans, its SUVs do not have revered progenitors, no E39 or E46 to engender nostalgia and unfair comparisons. The X5 happens to be competent and commercially successful, nonetheless it has never really been exalted. So BMW doesn't need to launch the fourth generation of that midsize SUV together with the promise the company is reconciling on track, because it is doing while using impending new 3 Series. Instead, the Bavarians are perfectly content to prove this X5 is just a better, more capable, plus much more advanced version from the last X5. And that's what it is. Slightly greater than before in wheelbase, width, and length, the revolutionary X5 has proportions that happen to be eminently familiar, regardless of whether its kidney grille is continuing to grow to near comical proportions. Its skin is pulled tauter in the corners, as well as the side surfacing adds some interest that has a line that kicks up for the rear door, so that it is look more athletic, but it really is far away from revolutionary. BMW's new and improved platform. There's a great amount of novel stuff occurring underneath, however. BMW is moving its entire lineup to merely 2 modular platforms, plus the X5 could be the latest to exchange to the cluster architecture CLAR. This underpins the revolutionary 3 Series. Its double-wishbone front suspension and multi-link rear are complemented by newly standard adaptive dampers as well as an optional suspension that now brings air springs on the front in addition to your rear axle. These people were only available out back previously. Rear wheel steering is often a new offering, and some from the last X5's options, including active anti-roll bars, variable ratio steering, plus an electronically controlled limited-slip rear differential, continue on here. This huge selection of chassis tech is part of BMW's assertion that this new X5 handles better on-road as well as being more capable off-road. We can't dispute this claim after initially experiencing the newest X5 with a legitimately challenging off-road course and also on some twisty terrains around Atlanta. It's impressive inside dirt, considering the requisite systems, including standard hill descent control, so that it is easy to crawl down rocks, despite the reality that even when fitted using the new off-road package, the examples we drove wore decidedly street-biased Pirelli P0PZ4 summer tires. More relevant are definitely the X5's road manners, which enhance the old model's clunky ride and loose steering that has a more connected feel as well as a greater feeling of refinement. The primary controls continue to be somewhat aloof. A tall 2.5-ton SUV is not going to provide you with the sharp responses of a sports sedan, so we don't expect it to, but there's little slop within the steering, along with the brake pedal responds progressively to inputs. An X5 we tested in Michigan on Pirelli Scorpion Zero all-season tires circled the skid pad at 0.89 grams and stopped from 70 miles per hour in 170 feet, notable improvements of 0.08 grams and 8 feet compared to its predecessor. The nearly 400-pound EV50i we tested, that has been wearing the aforementioned P0s, managed a still respectable 0.87 grams but stopped from 70 miles per hour within a sports sedan like 158 feet. Powertrain perfection. You might hear a hint with the xDrive 40i model's sweet-singing inline E6 under hard acceleration, nevertheless the engine note is hushed, too. This 335 horsepower turbocharged 3.0-liter mill is familiar from elsewhere from the BMW lineup, and delay as beautifully inside X5 since it does in other Beamers. 60 miles per hour comes up inside a scant 4.2 seconds, 1.1 second quicker than from the old 35i model. Shifts through the Zaurst 8-speed automatic transmission are snappy, as well as the engine is very smooth, satisfying, and potent during the entire rev range, which the 456 horsepower twin-turbo V8 xDrive 50i looks like overkill? Overkill could be a good thing, though, plus it certainly is inside the X5. The xDrive 50i we tested went from 0 to 60 miles per hour within a brisk 4.2 seconds and ran from the quarter mile in 12.7 seconds at 109 miles per hour. That's nipping for the heels of some legitimate performance SUVs. This also isn't perhaps the full-bore X5M that could surely return to your lineup down the line. The 50i creates a lovely sound, too, plus it isn't as thirsty as you'd expect, returning 23 miles per gallon on our 75 miles per hour highway fuel economy test, beating its EPA estimate by 1 mile per gallon. The 40i achieved a more impressive 28 miles per gallon within the same test, topping its very own EPA figure by 2 miles per gallon. The xDrive designations convince you all-wheel drive is standard on both the 6 and 8-cylinder X5s, although a rear-drive 40i price leader will almost certainly join the lineup later, in conjunction with diesel and plug-in hybrid versions. Fully loaded 6-cylinder X5s can exceed $80,000, while V8 models can eke into six-figure territory. The more reasonably equipped inline E6 and V8 U'd suite tested stickered at $72,530 and $92,405, respectively. With the right equipment, the X5 features one of the nicest BMW interiors in recent memory. The upright seating position of previous X5s is here, nevertheless the dashboard is usually a refreshing break from tradition. Knurled knobs, modernized climate control buttons, and shiny waist trim bring more flair than we're accustomed to finding in BMW's typically dour, business-like cabins. Optional finishes, for example a leather-wrapped dash, glass controls, and no-cost open-pore wood class things up to your level that nearly matches the Volvo XC90's cabin, the segment's current posh interior of note. The X5's instrument cluster is fully digital, and it along with the 12.3-inch central display boasts new software with crisp, clear graphics and easy-to-understand menu structures accessed through the familiar iDrive controller. Interior seating is best for 5, not 7. The larger exterior footprint provides more space inside, but unlike some competitors, the X5 is not actually intended to be a 7-passenger family hauler. The upcoming X7, that will come standard with 3 rows of seats, will handle that base. The X5's third row is optional, and although its second row remains quite accommodating, the 6th and 7th seats are, as these people were before, for the kids only. Other nods toward practicality provide an optional power-operated cargo cover plus the X5's familiar toe-piece tailgate, the lower section of which can be now powered the same as the upper section. With its selection of mechanical and technological upgrades, the brand-new X5 will convince perhaps the most steadfast doubters of that superiority above the X5s that come before it. As an SUV, it isn't about to garner the following that ranks its G05 codename one of many Bavarian legends, but this could be the most accomplished BMW SUV yet, plus it wears its various hats with aplomb.